parity and upsets have been major themes across the college lacrosse landscape this season. Coming off last year's NCAA quarterfinals appearance, Ohio State has rode a balanced attack to a 5-1 start. Last week, Hofstra's potent attack was silenced by Georgetown, resulting in their first loss of the season. Will the Pride get back to their winning ways, or will the Buckeyes hand Hofstra a second straight loss in Hempstead? It's a top 20 showdown, Ohio State and Hofstra, coming up on Lac Sports Network. For both Hofstra and Ohio State, today kicks off a string of important games coming up. It's the Lac Sports Network presents the College Lacrosse Game of the Week, live from Sherwood Stadium in Hempstead, New York. It's a battle of top 20 teams as the 19th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes visit number 13, Hofstra. Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome to Hempstead. Matt Shortis, Rob Anglekey, former Princeton attackman, and we're so glad you could join us for what should be a real fun matchup. Hofstra and Ohio State, 19 and 13, respectively. And Rob, as you look at this, Ohio State comes in 5-1 on the season, really still looking for their first marquee win. They beat Marquette earlier as a top 20 win, but this would really get them off running on this big stretch for them.
It really would. Hofstra's really proven themselves to be a top program as usual. They've had a couple of really big wins this year against Princeton and UNC. This win today for Ohio State would be huge.
And as we get into both these teams, Carter Brown for Ohio State, they lost two of their three leading scorers from a year ago, and he was expected to pick up that leadership role, and he has done just that.
He really has. Number 14 is an outstanding player. He's got everything. He's a point scorer. He's got the goals, he's got the assists, and he's got the leadership. I look for him to be a big contributor today.
And for Hofstra, top defense, Jack Kincannon, he's been nothing short of phenomenal in goal for the Pride so far this year.
You know, you rarely get to highlight a goalie, and it's great. And Jack Kincannon's really earned it. He's had stellar performances against Princeton and UNC. I look for him to be a big factor today.
I mean, you look at what Jack Kincannon's done, right up there, 5th in the nation in save percentage. And one thing that you see as a common thread among some of the top goalies is all their programs are winning right now.
You know, it's really no secret. You know, defense wins championships, and these two teams are perfect examples of it, along with Towson and Notre Dame. And I think that, you know, if they can continue that throughout their year, it's going to be a great sign for their success. Speaking
of defense, two of these teams ranked in the top 15. You look at some of the top ones, then Hofstra ranked up there at 9th. They were a top 10 defense a year ago. Ohio State brings an 11th ranked defense in as well. So these two defenses are one of the strongest, both of the strongest in the nation. Should be a fun one coming up. It's Hofstra, it's Ohio State in a battle of top 20 teams. Stick with us here on Lac Sports Network. Welcome back to Hofstra University at James M. Sherwood Stadium. Matt Shortis, Rob Anglekey, as we get ready for this top 20 clash. Number 19, Ohio State, coming in at 5-1 on the season. Hofstra Pride, 13th ranked team in the country, off their first loss of the year last week against Georgetown at 3-1 on the year. So it should be a good one. Right there, somewhere in the middle of that pack, is Nick Myers, the 8th season head coach for Ohio State. Has taken his team to 2 NCAA quarterfinals in the last 3 years. And Seth Tierney in his 10th season for Hofstra, a Hopkins grad, 2008 conference champs, 4-time NCAA appearances, but they have not been there since 2011. So both these teams with eyes on the postseason. Officials today, Kevin O'Leary, Mike McCloskey, and Mike Harold in what is a absolutely gorgeous day for early March here on Long Island. Jack Kincannon, we talked about him in our open. He's been fantastic so far this season for the Pride. Top 5 in save percentage, and I think the impressive thing about him so far, Rob, is that not only does he make the saves you expect him to make, he's made the athletic saves, the agile saves, the ones that keep you in games.
He really is. You know, you get a bunch of different styles of goaltending. You have some guys that are kind of steady in the goal, just kind of hold their positioning. You have other guys that are very acrobatic, and Kincannon's definitely the latter. And just as a young goalie, he's really held this team in, His performance against Princeton was absolutely stellar. And today, he's going to have a great matchup against Ohio State. They got some really good shooters, some really high velocity and accurate shooters on their side, so it's going to be definitely a big test for, again, such a young goalie.
Both teams a little bit banged up. Ohio State without one of their starting attackers, Colin Shell and John Kelly. You lose almost 20 points between the two of them. And for Hofstra, Dylan Alderman, one of their first-line midfielders, he is out today. So Brennan Kavanaugh is going to step into this first-line midfield, and then obviously the residual bring-ups and call-ups from guys stepping into higher profile roles for both teams. Over 60% on the face-offs this season for both teams. In fact, you get a lot of similarity between Ohio State and Hofstra. An infraction off the whistle, and it'll give the Pride the ball first. Both games we've had for Hofstra here on Lac Sports Network, they've gone down early. Princeton scored the first 2 goals here a couple weeks ago. Georgetown went on top 3-0. So Hofstra looking to get out to a faster start.
Some of the keys we were talking about today for Hofstra, they've had 2, the point scoring has been centered around 2 players, and that's Sam Linares, number 5, and Josh Byrne, number 42. These are 2 outstanding players, but just talking to Coach Tierney before the game, he's looking for a couple other guys to step up on the midfield, and I think that's going to be a huge key for them to be successful today, because I know Ohio State's really going to focus on those star players for Hofstra.
Bargan is a guy who stepped up of late for the Pride. A couple of goals against Georgetown, a couple of goals against Princeton. He's a guy that can create his own shots. So they have guys that can create their own shots. It's more finding somebody who's going to set up those guys as well.
Yeah, and I think they can use Byrne and Linares as decoys almost, right? So if they're not going to score on their own, they control the double and get the ball to the backside to allow those, those secondary players to try and get their hands free and get some points on the board for them.
Kavanaugh stepping in. Kavanaugh fires a shot just wide. So getting his first start of the season, and takes the first shot of the game as well. Now, as we talked about in our open, both these defenses highly ranked, top 15 defenses. Hofstra at 9, Ohio State at 11. So they are stingy. And here's Josh Byrne, who's been the human highlight reel of late for Hofstra. Had a couple goals last week. But Georgetown really figured him out. Looking up top, Von Bargan stepping into one, fires it wide. Kavanaugh backing for the Pride. Good offensive patience series for Hofstra so far.
And you can see that's what we were talking about. So the early slide from Ohio State, Byrne moves the ball, and then a great outside shot for Hofstra. Just a bit outside, but that's this is a possession that Coach Tierney wants.
Two-man game back behind the cage with Kavanaugh and Byrne. Byrne has the long pull on him. It's Eric Evans D'ing him up nicely. Slide comes over. Hofstra working the ball around. Von Bargan's been dangerous from up top. Close defense comes over. As Linares closed out, and a hand from the red and silver clad fans here as they recognize the defense, but then a shot right away from Von Bargan on the right slide, and Hofstra takes a 1-0 lead.
This is outstanding offense from Hofstra. We highlighted before, Josh Byrne was dodging, quick slide, moving to the ball to the backside. This possession really got Ohio State's defense tired, and Von Bargan really took advantage of that with the short stick playing on him on defense, dodging down the alley. Just a great shot. Midfield contributing. This is a great key and a great start to the game for Coach Tierney and Hofstra.
7th goal of the season for Brian Von Bargan, who had 3 starts a year ago, stepping into that first-line midfield this season. He started every game for Hofstra. Face-off win for Ohio State as Jake Withers comes up with it. He was 63% on the season coming into today. And now Ohio State will get into their offense. There's Ryan Hunter, Syosset native, which played on this field in high school. He's in the starting attack, again with the injuries to Shell and Kelly, so the starting midfield of Bluma, Shanks, and Fennell. Here's JT Bluma, the junior from Ohio, played in all 19 games last year for Ohio State. Again, we talked about both these teams having designs postseason. Ohio State is hosting the quarterfinals, so that is a definitive goal for them. Nice feed right inside, beats Concannon up high as Jasinski, the freshman, ties it up at 1. Good ball movement from Ohio State on the opening possession.
This is really impressive. You know, there really was no play here. This is just good ball movement and just a really good shot. At the end of the day, when you're taking bounce shots and picking top corners, I don't care how good you are in goal, it's an incredibly tough save to make. Ohio State makes a great answer to Hofstra, 1-1 early in the first quarter.
Freshman from Birmingham, Alabama. As the recruits, especially for some of the Midwest teams, starting to come from areas where you don't traditionally see lacrosse powers. Face-off win for Clark, moves it to Linares, delayed penalty coming up on Ohio State. So alternating possessions, neither defense has created a turnover, and the face-offs have been 2-1 in favor of Hofstra. Goes by Von Borgen and Jasinski, have us tied at 1. You know, both coaches expecting this game to be tight heading into the fourth quarter. Neither coach would be surprised if it was a one-goal game today.
Yeah, neither would I. You know, both teams are very good, very well coached. They recruit a lot of the same players. Even Ohio State's, you know, from the Midwest, they recruit a lot of Long Island guys. Both teams got very stingy defenses with good goaltending. So, you know, very even matched up. And I think it's going to be a great game to watch today.
We get a slash on Ohio State as the penalty on the faceoff man, Withers. Just a little aggressive trying to create that turnover.
Ohio State penalty on number 18, Jake
So
Withers.
Hofstra will go on the first man advantage of the game. Just under 4 minutes in a tie contest. And Byrne up top. Kopecky stepping in, high shot, blocked by Carey. And a big save for Ohio State as they'll try and initiate the clear.
Great ball movement, just a really good save by the goaltender. You know, I like the spot there. I like going, you know, off stick high. And I also like the angle. It's just, at the end of the day, great goaltending, and Ohio State's just going to try to hold on to the ball and run off that penalty.
So 30 seconds remain in the man advantage for Hofstra. And like you said, Ohio State just patiently waiting. They'll let the remaining 20 seconds of this wind off as best they can. Hofstra is not being too aggressive defensively. Oftentimes you'll see the team with the man up double the ball, but Hofstra just settling in, want to make sure their defensive assignments are accounted for. So penalty released, Eric Fennell will come on for Ohio State as the Buckeyes looking for their first lead of the game. Swung around behind the cage, Hunter with it. And Ryan Hunter, member of the Nassau County champions his senior year. They won that on this very field. So obviously good memories for him back here at Hofstra. Series started just a couple of years ago as a renewed relationship, so to speak. Ohio State came here 2 years ago. They beat Hofstra, their first ever win over the Pride last year out in Columbus. Patient offense here for Shanks. Junior, first year, transferred from Bellarmine. Back behind the cage now. It's Carter Brown.
I think, you know, something we were talking with Coach Myers before the game. They got a couple big injuries like Matt talked about, and I think it's just going to be a big test for some of the younger players in Ohio State to step up, but also make sure they're taking care of the ball. You know, you can lean on Carter Brown, but, you know, they're going to need to be careful with the ball, making sure they're doing the right things and not being careless, especially so early in the game. Just, you know, kind of getting their feet wet, getting comfortable in this, you know, high-octane game, ranked game.
Brown fires a shot. The shot clock was on. Ohio State will keep it 16 seconds on that shot clock remain. They mentioned the injuries. Brown, in today's starting lineup, is the lone starter who started offensively for Ohio State last year. So a lot of new faces, a lot of new pieces for Nick Myers' crew. Just 1 second remaining, violation and a turnover. So the defense is starting to clamp down after goals on the opening possessions for both teams.
Outstanding defense. You know, and when you have Jack Kincannon in goal, that's just what happens. The offense is hesitant to shoot. There was a couple opportunities there where Ohio State could have let it loose, but they wanted to be sure they were getting the perfect shot just because they knew Kincannon's in goal, and he's a wall in there. So really good defense overall. Teams are starting to settle in now. Good sharp lacrosse though.
This is one area where Ohio State's been pretty effective, and Hofstra struggled at times trying to keep it in bounds. They are not able to do so, as it was Sullivan who went out, and it'll be a turnover. Ohio State trying to settle back in quickly. Ohio and Hofstra's defense able to recover. Good turnout here in terms of fans in the silver and red. A good portion of the stadium. We'll have a whistle. And they're just going to give a bench warning to Hofstra. Both coaches will follow suit. Make sure the benches come off the sideline.
You know, I love that that ride by Ohio State. It's kind of like a forecheck in hockey. You know, you just create extra offense, right? So as opposed to, you know, depending upon your goalie or defense to stop the opposing offense, here's the attack in the midfield doing a great job just preventing the clear and getting another opportunity to score. Second chances are so valuable in this game.
We saw that from Georgetown really in the second half. Nice swim move, and Sullivan able to slide out defensively, pick it up. Otherwise, Jasinski was looking at goal number 2. Yeah, but it was an area of the game where Hofstra struggled slightly last week. Brown loosed the ball out of his stick, loose in front, batted around, and it's picked up by Osman of Hofstra. Osman out of net, low pass, another tricky clear attempt for the Pride. Ohio State again on that ride, they pick it up. So long possession here for the Buckeyes. You know, you played attack. If you come up with a turnover or something like that, all of a sudden you get the ball back. How energized are you as a group?
You know, you definitely get fired up, and what you can see now Ohio State's doing is now they're subbing in new midfielders, and the defense on Hofstra stays on the field. So this is what happens. You get fresh legs onto the attackmen. They're definitely worn out, but you get 3 other guys on the field that have fresh legs, and these are the opportunities that, you know, you really get a good opportunity to score because you get some careless defense, and it looked like almost a slash there, but good defense by Hofstra. Another opportunity to try and clear it here. I look for the Hofstra attack to try and make an effort and get the ball, as you can see.
They do get it up to Burns, who's all the way out near the midfield. Josh Byrne has lit it up offensively for Hofstra in the early going. Last year it was Sam Linares and a lot of other pieces. Now those guys are kind of 1 and 1A, and allows, or they hope it will allow some of the other guys to have some openings. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. A 1-1 game as Hofstra's defense just rode out a long defensive possession. Von Bargen looking up top. Hendrickson lost it for a second, able to recover though. And Brendan Kavanaugh stepping into the first line midfield for unit, the younger brother of Matt. Kavanaugh on the dot from up top, feeds Von Bargen. Von Bargen, right-handed shot, pulls it just wide left. Well, he's not afraid to pull the string from up there.
You know, I think Ohio State's sliding a little too early right now. I know Kavanaugh's dodging with a short stick, but I think they're kind of creating offense for Hofstra here. And Van Bargen's really had opportunities to take some great shots. He's got the first goal of the game. You know, this is exactly what Coach Tierney wants. You know, high sliding and good movement from the offense, and so they've had some really good opportunities so far.
Again, here's Byrne. Draws the long stick. It's Eric Evans on him. That's been a good matchup so far. Byrne, skip pass up top. Kavanaugh trying to shake off the defense. Kavanaugh unable to get his hands free. Slid to the right, looking right on the crease. Defense collapses. Byrne almost picked it up, a battle for it. And looks like Tom Carey comes out and able to clamp it up. We'll have a whistle. And that's going to go against Hofstra anyway, so Ohio State will have the ball.
That was great one-on-one defense there for Ohio State on Josh Byrne. It's going to be a huge matchup today. You know, you got to stop Josh Byrne. You got to stop Linares, and it's going to be a huge key. But I like the way the Hofstra's been moving the ball in the midfield with the short sticks, and I think that's going to be a good strategy for them going for the rest of the game today.
Austin Shanks bringing the ball into the attacking third of the field. Jasinski, the freshman, has the lone goal today for the Buckeyes. Carter Brown, a Tuaton watch list member for Ohio State. You know, the thing about him that Nick Myers has really liked is vocally, he's not always going to be this incredible vocal leader, just not his personality, but he has purposefully made attempts to become more of that leader, more of that vocal guy. Obviously, in terms of actions. They like what he does, but they like what he's attempted to do in terms of grow as a leader as well.
Yeah, when Carter plays, he plays X attack, and that's kind of analogized to the quarterback of the offense in football. And I really think in order to be a full X attack, you got to be a quarterback. You got to be calling out the plays. You got to be getting the offense together. And like you said, Coach Meyer's been really happy about his effort to improve that part of his game.
Loose ball push on Hofstra will give the ball back to Ohio State. Now it's twofold. You got to imagine Saturni's like the way his defense is played, but their inability so far in this game to finish the possessions has got to be frustrating as well. There's Brown. Goal line extended all the way out past the box. Brown defense sliding over quickly. Near side it comes for Jasinski. Osman stepped in. Turnaround shot right on the crease, and couldn't see who that was, but looked like Fennell paid the price for it indeed.
Hofstra's defense just doing a great job. They're hedging. They're not really sliding or creating offense for Ohio State, but they're hedging their slides. They're showing it, and it's making Ohio State, second guessing finishing their dodges. And they've had, really good team defense so far today.
There's Jasinski trying to step in. Kincannon going low for the save.
Job by number 5, Jack Jasinski, the save by Jack.
One thing we've seen from Hofstra's defense over the first couple weeks is sometimes they get a little lost off ball. It seems like they have been really focused, really on point, and quick to the attack once that pass is made off ball.
And I think that's an extra focus today for playing against Ohio State, who's so good off ball, and they got such great sticks on the field. You always want to be conscious off ball, and it's a tough thing to coach. You kind of just need to get guys' attention span to be on point all the time. But that possession was just really well done. That's a tight angle shot that as a coach in the defense you're willing to give up, especially with a Kincannon in goal. They're doing a great job on ball and off ball today on the defensive side.
There's Kavanaugh driving left. That one almost picked off as he was looking back behind the cage for Kopecky. Kopecky, a guy that Saturni hopes can get things going. As we have a whistle to stay Hofstra ball as it was deflected out of bounds. And we'll get a timeout on the field. A tie ball game at 1. It's been a defensive contest. A minute and a half to go in the opening quarter. Stick with us. It's the Lac Sports Network College Game of the Week between Hofstra and Ohio State on LSN. College lacrosse action returns to LSN on Friday and Saturday, live from Stevenson University. The 2016 Mustang Classic features some of the top teams in Division III. Lacrosse and Lac Sports Network will bring you all the action live from Stevenson on March 18th and 19th. Both days feature a quadruple header of D3 action, beginning at 12:30 p.m. In addition to Stevenson, this year's teams are Lynchburg, RIT, Denison, Dickinson, Nazareth, York, and Cabrini. The 2016 Mustang Classic on Lac Sports Network. It's all Laccess. Back here in Hofstra, tied at 1. Goals from Jasinski and Von Bargen. Hofstra got on the board first, and Ohio State answered on their first offensive possession, and it's been all defense since. A couple nice saves from Carey and Kincannon, but the Poles have done the job. Not a lot of high percentage shots so far in this game. Linares tries for one block before it even got to goal as he recovers the ground ball.
1 minute remaining in the first quarter.
Inside a minute to go. Norris up top, they find right side. It's Hendrickson trying to shake his hands free, but he's got the long pole on him. Eric Evans seemingly has been everywhere for Ohio State, especially on that left side of goal. There's Kavanaugh, a little offensive shake and bake. Sophomore. Kellenberg locally. Hofstra taking their time right now, just 25 seconds to go. In the opening quarter, they'll likely ride this one out, settle for one shot. There's Hendrickson moving inside, changes hands, fires low, and it goes wide, out of bounds. It will stay with Hofstra for the final 12 seconds.
This has just been a clinic of rotational defense by Ohio State. There's been some tough matchups with Byrne and Linares getting short sticks, and the defense has just been able to rotate and get back onto those long poles onto those guys. Is a really good example of how to, as a team, play good defense and rotate and get to where you want to be.
There's Linares quickly shoved down, trying to stick with it. 3 seconds to go. Linares up top, unable to get a shot off, and Ohio State, a big defensive stand in the final minute of the opening quarter.
Outstanding job. You know, it's tough playing against such a potent offense, and you know, you want to rotate quick, but again, this is just a really good defense of communicating, getting guys where you want to be. Outstanding job by Ohio State.
Hofstra unable to get anything off as the defense standing tall, but Von Bargen, the lone goal today for the Pride. After one, we're tied at one. Stick with us here on LSN. This spring, Lax Sports Network will bring you some of the best high school lacrosse in the country as we feature 11 games from the Mid-Atlantic. Our next matchup comes to you on Tuesday, March 16th, when the Hill Academy from Toronto, Canada, travel to Baltimore to take on St. Paul's School. The high school game of the week on Lax Sports Network. It's all Laxess. Back here at Hofstra University, Matt Shortis, Rob Engelke, and Ohio State and Hofstra in the top 20 matchup are tied at 1. Hofstra outshot Ohio State in that first period, 8-4. But not a whole lot of them on goal. Both goalies coming up with one save apiece.
It's interesting, you saw both teams score in their first possession. Really pretty, really good offense, good shooting. And then you can see how good these defenses are. They settle in so quickly, are able to figure out what the opposing offense is trying to do, and now they're settled in, and both offenses having a really tough time just getting even quality shots off.
I wouldn't say it's for both offenses moving the ball pretty well. They're looking on the crease. The defenses, you're right, have just kind of figured things out so far. So the quarter break, we'll see if the offenses can adjust. And both teams dealing with some injuries. No Shell or John Kelly for Ohio State. And Brendan Kavanaugh is in the starting lineup for Dylan Alderman for Hofstra. Here's Kopecky, the third attackman for Hofstra. Had 4 goals and an assist last year. Played in 9 games. Behind the decks, Kopecky going to turn around and fire. And Linares was there for Hofstra to back up. As an attackman, do you force things? Do you start to get frustrated in a game like this?
You definitely get frustrated. And, you know, I think for Josh Byrne and Sam Linares, these guys are used to putting up some big points. You know, last week against Georgetown, they had a tough time doing that, and now you can see Ohio State's focusing on them again today. So as leaders, you know, you want to be the guys that are putting the points on the board, but I think what they need to realize is that they can be productive without actually getting the points. They can draw doubles like this, you know, and try and get the ball to the backside to the other guys and give them better opportunities. But, it definitely is frustrating against a defense.
Well, Byrne has Freddie Freebot on him right now. Tough matchup. Linares, pull comes to him. Double almost slid over. Linares going to turn back. That's a stick in the left hand. There's nowhere to go for either of those guys right now. Here's Hendrickson, gets that round the defense, buries a left-handed shot, and Hofstra goes on top by a score of 2-1. Corey Hendrickson, his 5th goal of the season. And it's Hofstra's first goal since the opening moments of the game.
Really happy to see Van Bargen and now Hendrickson contributing here. We spoke with Coach Tierney before. That was going to be a huge key, was whether these midfielders can, really produce for them. And this is a great sign. Now you see Van Bargen and Hendrickson, contributing with individual effort goals. Now Ohio State's going to have to pay attention to them. You never know. Now it's going to give Byrne and Linares more time and more room to dodge on their own. So this is how it's done.
And on the other side for Ohio State, right now, Jake Withers has got 2 infractions, 3 infractions, and now the penalty. So Chris Clark, his life has been easy for him so far. He hasn't had to do a whole lot. But he's won 2 of the 3 faceoffs that didn't result in a whistle cleanly. Big thing for Hofstra. They've been able to get the possession, and they're getting it into their offensive zone where they have struggled at times.
This is now their second man up, their first man up. I thought they did a good job. I thought they got a good shot, but it was saved. It was a great save by the goalie, and you can see interesting strategy right now by Ohio State. They're shutting off Josh Byrne. So now, as opposed to a 6-on-5, it's a 5-on-4.
They work off a screen, low save. Carey able to knock it away, popped up into the air. A lot of contact, but it's picked up by Ohio State by Eric Evans on the ground ball. Evans with a little trouble on it, just scoops it in. Linares chasing after it for Hofstra. Hofstra, they answer on a ride, but Ohio State rides off the penalty. Byrne thought about stepping into that one, feeds it back up top.
Another great save by Carey. Better right by Hofstra, get another opportunity, but the penalty's been able to wear off. Now it's 6-on-6, but another flag. So you can see Ohio State's defense just starting to get a little tired, being a little careless.
A tough penalty to take if you're Ohio State. As it looked like Casey Capinos and Kavanaugh, they just got their feet tangled up, and both of them went down, but looks like a trip is going to be called. Hofstra working patiently right now. Hendrickson, who had the last goal, dodging from up top. Feeds left side for Byrne. Byrne with his eyes up, trying to work on something offensively. Byrne was locked off a moment ago. Byrne will fire. Wormburner shot somehow beats Carey. And add another one to the highlight reel for Josh Byrne. Sneaky, sneaky for the Hofstra junior.
Matt, this is a great goal, but it really all starts with the ride. So they were able to get the turnover off the Ohio State save, and now Josh Byrne's able to come across the top. He's able to sweep. You can see the fake low-to-low shot. He actually uses his defenseman as a shield, and the goalie can barely see the ball until, it's pretty much out of his stick. So although it may not be the most high velocity, it comes at a really tough angle for a goalie to see it. Great job, crafty by Josh Byrne.
15th goal of the season for Josh Byrne, one of the top players nationally in terms of scoring. Hofstra takes a 3-1 lead, and a timeout taken by Ohio State. We'll be back in a moment here on our College Game of the Week on LSN. Josh Byrne scoring his 15th goal of the season, top 5 in the country in points per game. And Jake Fricaro leads the nation, of course, coming over from Princeton, playing at Villanova this year. But Hofstra has found a gem in number 42.
Coming from Nassau Community College, he's got some of the best stick skills, some of the best, shooting sort of strategies. He's not shooting from over the top all the time. He's not shooting from sideways. He's shooting underhand. He comes from all different planes, and it makes the goalie's job incredibly tough, and you can see it from the last goal.
Satooni says he's not just taking those shots. Those are the things he practices and works on in practice. Ohio State off the face-off, a quick shot. Kincannon going low for the save. And Hofstra trying to work this on the clear. Out of bounds it'll go. A quick ride. Nicely done by Jack Jasinski. And that'll give Ohio State the ball back. Nick Myers can breathe a sigh of relief after the quick shot, and his defense had a long defensive possession.
Some more clearing troubles from Hofstra. Jack Kincannon makes a great acrobatic save off the face-off, but again, Hofstra, I know they're up by 2, but, it's never enough in lacrosse, and for them to have a big game or winning game today, it's going to take a much better clearing effort.
Especially because, when you consider for Hofstra the last couple home games that we've seen, Princeton and Georgetown, they went down early, so to be up early in front of the home crowd is a little different scenario than Hofstra's used to, but I'm sure they prefer that. Penalty released for Ohio State, and we're back to 6-on-6 lacrosse. Nice pass down low. Kincannon able to stop it. Carter Brown didn't have his feet underneath him. Otherwise, you could cash that in as a goal. Hofstra might have gotten a little lucky. Beautiful feed to set up Brown, and it was thrown a little behind him.
Clear for Hofstra.
Hofstra back on the attack.
So I think one thing that, a key to the game that we keep talking about is the midfield play at Hofstra. So, the guys that have the short sticks against them, if they're able to produce, and they have so far today. So I'm interested to see if the Ohio State defense and Coach Myers, starts to recognize that and maybe change the strategy and slide to them quicker. But Hofstra so far has done a great job of getting those guys in the right spots to score.
Deflected, and Linares finds it in his stick off of Kopecki's. Linares trying to square up, unable to get so much shooting room. Shoots in low. And I don't know if it was Carey that got a piece of that or went off the side of the post. Either way, it'll be Hofstra ball.
Really impressed by Evans and Borges on defense for Ohio State. They just play outstanding one-on-one defense. They're not checking a lot. They're not going for the home run check. They just play really good, man-to-man defensive defense.
It's saved. Live on Parkin. Kavanaugh pushed out. Yeah, even the goals that Hofstra has gotten, you know, they've been shots normally you'll take. The last one from Byrne, it was just an intelligent play of Von Bargen unleashing one that sailed over the crossbar. Sort of a wily veteran-type move from Josh Byrne, but even that, as a head coach or a goalie, you'll take shots from the alleys like that.
No, you know, if anyone else took that shot, Coach Tierney would probably be in his ear telling him not to take it, but when it's Josh Byrne, you kind of got to let him go, and those shots go in often for him.
There's Kavanaugh looking right on the crease, throws behind Kopecky. Linares chasing after it for Hofstra. Somehow he's holding on to it, despite the fact that House is just manhandling him defensively.
Both offenses and defenses seem pretty tired right now in this possession. I think Hofstra's got to start setting some picks or maybe inverting just to kind of get the defense off guard.
Here's Hendrickson. Carey going down low to make the save, and they'll feed it back to him. And Ohio State will start on the clear.
Great save by Carey. Great defensive effort there by Ohio State. Just really good one-on-one defense. They're winning their matchups. And it finishes up by an outstanding save by Carey. Both goalies are playing really well today. It's been a huge defensive game for both teams today.
Tyler Pfister bringing it up. The redshirt junior out of Columbus, Ohio. Plenty of Ohio guys on this roster. We talked about recruiting a little bit before. It's almost like Nick Myers, now that the game is growing in Ohio, he's taken a similar page to what Bill Tierney's done out in Denver, is really recruit your home state to the best that you can. Recruit Canada a little bit, recruit the Midwest, and then, you know, find some guys on Long Island or Maryland, those hotbed areas, but use your backyard.
It's really exciting to see, and just listening to Coach Myers' tone of voice, you know, he's really excited about what the game of lacrosse is doing in the Midwest, and you can see it's being reflected in the program.
Flag down on Hofstra, as that one looked like a pretty rough penalty. Jasinski got hounded by Finn Sullivan, and we'll see who the penalty is against. It was Diener and Sullivan were both in the area. It's going to go against Michael Diener. And starting close defenders for Hofstra.
I don't care what sport you play, Matt, that's going to be a penalty. Football, hockey, that coming across the head like that is not allowed.
7:36 of the second quarter.
Brendan Lynch will come on. And Liam Blum, Ohio State transfer. Actually, high school teammates of Ryan Hunter, both Syosset guys. A man-up chance here for Ohio State, trying to battle back in this one. Still just one goal on the game. Ryan Hunter a little trouble with it. Up top, time winding down to the penalty. Hodgins, Brown up top, swinging around left side, pulled wide.
Shot by number 9, JT.
And Ryan Hunter was there backing up. We'll have a timeout. And Nick Myers and Ohio State are going to talk this one over. Defensive battle so far, as the defense for Hofstra not really allowing any high percentage opportunity there a moment ago. Both goalies, though, have been stoppers when they've been required to.
Both goalies are a huge factor in this game today. You can see the diving save by Jack Kincannon. He's a very acrobatic, very active goalie. On the other side, Carey for Ohio State. He's a very big possession goalie. He's a big guy, takes up a lot of net, does a great job of taking away the angle, and he has also made some really incredibly good saves today.
On that first save, I think we saw from Kincannon on that weak side from Carter Brown. Hofstra got a little lucky. If that pass is right on the money for Brown, he probably deposits that in the back of the net. Instead, he has to go back. He lost his footing a little bit, didn't get off a shot with a lot of power on it. So Nick Myers at the drawing board right now. Offensively, what have you seen from Ohio State? What can they start to do that maybe isn't working for them right now?
To be honest, they really haven't been able to get in the flow. So where Hofstra is, they're kind of attacking with their first-line midfielders. They're attacking the short stick middies, and they've been able to kind of create offense, be able to get the slide. Ohio State on the other side, I really haven't been able to figure out what their strategy is. Hofstra's just done such a good job of taking away sort of every angle. And I think Ohio State just needs to try to find different ways, attacking from different angles, maybe, getting a short stick behind, maybe setting picks, but so far they really haven't been too effective.
Again, they are down a couple players. Colin Shell and John Kelly both out today. Penalty has been released, and we are at 6-on-6 with a little over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. The lone goal today for Ohio State was the freshman Jack Dosinski. He's got the ball in his stick right now, a member of the U.S. U19 team, three-time All-State member in Alabama. Both his parents are Ohio natives, so that's kind of why he ended up looking at Ohio State. There's Blobau, 8 goals on the season for him for the Buckeyes. Looking right on the crease, and the pass got away. Picked up by Ryan Hunter of the Buckeyes. Hunter comes near side. Buckeyes moving quickly now. A big hit and a save by Kincannon. Ball will go out of bounds, but it'll stay with the red and silver.
Gotta love the physicality of lacrosse sometimes. You can't let an attackman get in front of the net. Love the defenseman putting his body on him. Great job by the defenseman.
Shanks around the defender. Kincannon, another low save, and a ground ball picked up by Hofstra. Here comes Brendan Lynch of the Pride. Numbers if they hurry. Defense getting back quickly. And Lynch will move it over to Josh Byrne, and Hofstra will settle into their offense. There's Kopecki trying to slide and dodge, but again, the long poles of Ohio State have not made things easy for Hofstra. Here's Josh Byrne cutting inside, switches to the left hand, and just off target there.
Another great defensive effort by Hofstra on their defensive side, giving the offense another opportunity to try to go up by 3. What's been successful so far versus Hofstra is Van Bargen and Hendrickson dodging from up top, and I look for them to kind of continue with that strategy. It's been effective.
Ball knocked away. Out of bounds it'll go, and Byrne will box out the defender Evans. Even the shot that resulted in a goal from Josh Byrne, that was up near the top of the box. So those dodging from up top, maybe a short stick matchup, even though Byrne had the long pole on him. Here's James Kitchen, second midfield unit on for Hofstra for really the first time from what we've seen so far today. And they're a little banged up with Alderman, one of the starting midfielders, offensively out. Here's Volkel as a flag comes out. And Hofstra will go on another man advantage in a moment. There's Linares trying to shoulder his way in. Double teamed as Linares will move back up top. Zach Franco stepping in, getting his number called. He and Dale Stasko were some of the guys that they anticipated stepping into the role that Kavanaugh had filled as he moved up to this first midfield. Left-handed shot goes high over the net, and that'll stop the clock, and Hofstra will go on the man advantage with 4:07 to go in the first half.
So far, Hofstra has been ineffective on the man-up offense. This is just the defenseman putting too high. He's the call's going to be a cross-check, and just because it's too high, it's getting near the head. Normally, midfielders are allowed to kind of use their stick to defend, but, the refs don't like it when it's up high on the body like that. But, again, going back to Hofstra's man-up, they've taken good shots, but Carey's just done such a good job between the pipes that, it hasn't been shown in the stats. So, again, you can see Ohio State shutting off Byrne up top, and now it's a 5-on-4 effort.
Penalty on Matt Borges, another Nassau County guy from Garden City High School. Freshman playing that long stick midi spot for Ohio State this year. Quick ball movement from Hofstra, trying to find something. Linares was thinking about the skip pass. Time winding down on the penalty. Near side they come, pass blocked in front, and a ground ball picked up by Ohio State. Battle for it though, squirts out near the top of the box, and the Buckeyes have it again. They feed it back to Carey, and the clear is on.
It's really upsetting for Hofstra to go now 0-3 on their men up. I know Coach Tierney is not going to be happy about that. That was definitely not their best effort as far as men up, but you got to give Ohio State defense credit. They're just playing really good defense and just shutting down all opportunities for Hofstra.
I mean, both teams, we've seen quite a few shots blocked by defenders, which is never an easy thing to do. It's always impressive to me. Here's Jasinski trying to get 3. Jasinski tripped up, and a flag coming up on Hofstra now, as Ohio State will settle it down and wait for a good opportunity for themselves. So as well as the defenses have played, there have also been plenty of man-up chances for both teams.
A lot of flags on the ground, but at the end of the day, it's still only 4 goals, and we're almost near the end of the first half. So no matter how many guys they have on the field, they seem to be effective.
Jack Jasinski, ball at X. Has the short stick on him. And Lynch, make it Luke Gomez, pardon me. Ohio waiting for an opportunity. A quick stick and a goal. A beautiful feed inside. And Ryan Hunter scores in front of some friends and family.
Ohio State's really started to give Jack Jasinski sort of a big role in their offense right now, dodging. He did it last possession. This possession, finding the guy in the backside. That's an outstanding feed. Great job on the finish there. This is a good offense. This is dodging from a good angle. This is drawing the double and finding the guys in the backside. That's the type of offense that I want to see from Ohio State. Well executed there.
And Hofstra goes man down after the trip.
Hofstra penalty on number 15, Michael Diener, 1 minute for tripping.
Diener picking up his second penalty today. Ryan Hunter, senior, was an all-ECAC second team member a couple years ago as a sophomore. Starting 6 games last year. We imagine his role is going to expand as Clark had the ground ball, lost the stick on the check, and we'll see what the whistle is. It's going to go against Ohio State. A real hard check. And Hofstra winning the face-off. They've done a good job in that area of the game today. As Linares getting absolutely hounded by the double team. But Linares gets by it. And he'll settle it at X as the Pride have a chance to work off this penalty. Still over 30 seconds remain in the man advantage, but they do have the possession.
Matt, these possessions towards the end of the half are just so important. They really set the tone going into the locker room. And as Hofstra runs down this penalty here, I'm interested to see if they kind of hold on to it for the last shot, just because setting the tone, especially in such a tight game, setting the tone going into the locker room at halftime is so important. You want to have the lead, and if you can expand it to 2, that's an extra plus, but you definitely don't want to give Ohio State an opportunity to tie it.
There's 3 seconds remain on the man advantage. Kavanaugh getting ready to check back in for Hofstra, and now we are back to even strength. And you mentioned it now, with just 1:15 left. We'll see how quickly Hofstra decides to move into the offense, and we'll also see how quickly the officials will start that shot clock. So Linares holding in the near side corner and a final minute to go. We saw at the end of the first quarter, Hofstra held for a while, and Ohio State, their defense was so well executed that Hofstra wasn't able to get a clean shot off. As Linares trying to move to the left side. And Kavanaugh back at X. 40 seconds to go in the first half. Kavanaugh now with the stick in the left hand, cuts back to his right, and the shot clock is up. About a 3-second difference between the shot and the game clock. We'll have a shot and then a timeout taken by Hofstra with just 31 seconds to go. So as an attackman, shot and game clock are almost the same, so you're not really rushing right now, but as you know, you have an opportunity to give your team a 2-goal lead heading into half. This game situation, what are you looking for? What are you thinking about as you're coming out of the huddle as an attacker?
Well, I think that this is a great coaching moment. So I think what's going to happen here is Coach Tierney and the offense, they're probably going to write up a play. And I think they're trying to get Josh Byrne or Sam Linares to try and be a decoy maybe, try to draw a double and get the ball to the backside to allow a guy like Van Bargen or Hendrickson, who have been effective so far, to get the effort going into the end of the half. So, as you are an attacker, you're just listening to your coach right now, just trying to figure out the best strategy to score on a hot goalie, to be quite honest with you. They're not going to be looking for an outside shot. They're going to be looking for something in tight.
Lacrosse fans, if you're looking for a place where you can get all the news, highlights, and analysis for the sport you love all in one place, look no further than Lac Sports Network. Each night at 9 Eastern, Lacrosse Now brings you a comprehensive look at all the news of the day, from the pros to college to high school, indoor and outdoors, men's and women's. We cover the entire sport of lacrosse like no one else. Lacrosse Now on LSN every night at 9 p.m. It's all Laccess. So 31 seconds remain in the half. 28 seconds are on the shot clock after the officials started that. Hofstra with the possession, a 3-2 advantage right now. And if you can tell, defenses have come to play today. Backed up by the goalies, Tom Carey, Jack Concannon. Had strong seasons so far, strong games as well. Here's Hendrickson dodging from up top. Veers back outside. Linares, now Kavanaugh has it left wing. 14 in the game clock. Just 7 to shoot now. Here's Burns on the right side. Burns looking right on the crease, gets all the way through. Out of bounds it'll go. And a turnover. Ohio State will have it with just 3 seconds to go. They'll heave it downfield all the way towards goal. Concannon wasn't on cage, but he went up and stopped it anyway. So we anticipated a 1-goal game, maybe not as low scoring as this, but Hofstra a 3-2 lead at halftime.
Ohio State and Hofstra playing outstanding defense. That was a great effort by Ohio State to hold off Hofstra, to get in the lead to two goals. To, again, goaltenders and defense have been the name of the game, and holding off the star players on the opposing offense.
So we await a moment. Seth Tierney making his way over to our spot where we'll be able to talk to him. Hofstra leading 3-2. Goals for the Pride from Josh Byrne is 15th. Corey Hendrickson is 5th, and Von Bargen is 7th. Jack Jasinski, his 4th goal of the season, as well as Ryan Hunter's 4th goal of the year for Ohio State. So the local product for Ohio State, Ryan Hunter, coming up with his 4th goal of the season. And now we head down to Seth Tierney, the coach of the Hofstra Pride. And Coach, I imagine something encouraging for you offensively is a couple of your goals coming from the midfielders.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not really thrilled with our offense. I think we can move the ball a little bit better. I think we should be able to get out to the perimeter and create a little bit more flow. It wasn't a ton of shots that we liked, and credit Ohio State. They're playing some pretty good defense, but we got to do a better job on that offensive end of moving the ball.
I mean, you guys defensively as well. What have you seen from your defense that you're liking so far? What are you executing on well?
Yeah, certainly they're sitting down, they're playing defense, they're doing the right thing. They know their hands. I guess the issue is we have to clear the ball. We had 2 short stick deep middies that dropped the ball in a clearing situation. That's 2 more offensive possessions. That's playing more offense and less defense, and that's what we need to do. All
right, Coach, appreciate it. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Again, Seth Tierney and the Hofstra Pride leading Ohio State by a score of 3-2 in a matchup of 2 top 20 teams. Stick with us here on LSN. Welcome back to Stewart Stadium at Hofstra University. The Pride, 13th ranked team in the country, leading Ohio State, the 19th ranked team in the country. And we'll take a look now at the national rankings. You've got a really fantastic weekend, and especially tomorrow you look at Denver, Notre Dame. Those 2 teams will go head-to-head. Rob, after that, there's been so much parity in the game that it seems like it's Denver, Notre Dame, and then everybody else can kind of shake around.
It really has, but it's unique to this year, I would say, to a little bit of a greater degree, but it's so early in the season, and that's what happens. You're trying to figure out where teams lie, who really are the favorites in certain games. So, you have programs that are, beating some larger ones, but it's the nature of it, and I'm interested to see how the rest of the this weekend shakes out.
I mean, and you have some newer, younger programs upcoming. Stony Brook, obviously. What they've done, Ohio State obviously here, what they've done in the last couple of years, Boston University in the top 20. Marquette was in the top 20 last week, so there's been a lot of shakeup throughout that poll in the first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, and I think the Ivy League is actually one of the most interesting. You have Yale and Brown up top, and you actually really haven't seen that in quite some time, as opposed to the Princeton and Cornells of the world. So you certainly have nationally and even in intra-division. Some really big shakeups.
I mean, Yale and what Brown's done offensively. Harvard had the big week and then lost to Bryant during the week. Ohio State, 19th in the country right now. They will have a huge stretch coming up, or they do have a huge stretch coming up, obviously, today. Then you look, they head back to Towson, Denver, Notre Dame, and then they get into Big Ten play. It does not get easy from here on out to the end of the season for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, it really doesn't. But talking to Coach Myers, he's excited about it, right? And it's a pitching point for when you're recruiting kids. Like, I know we're in the Midwest, but we're playing against, the top programs in the country. You're not missing anything. And in fact, you're playing a more competitive schedule than a lot of other teams. So it's really exciting. I know Ohio State and Coach Myers are really pumped about it. And, with with only behind by 1 to Hofstra, I know they're excited to go get the start going.
Yeah, you look back to last year, it was something they did last year as well. They were the only team in college lacrosse that had to win over 3 of the final 4 teams, including Denver, including Notre Dame. So a big schedule last year for Ohio State, big schedule this year as well for the Buckeyes. So 3-2, Hofstra leading Ohio State here at halftime. We'll be back in a moment from Sherwood Stadium. It's all coming up on the College Game of the Week on LSN. Welcome back to Hofstra University. The Pride leading the Buckeyes by a score of 3-2 in a top 20 showdown here on LSN. Defense, obviously the name of the game, but the scoring got going early on for both these teams.
Hendrickson and Van Bargen of Hofstra, the midfielders, are doing a great job drawing slides and producing for them. And then on the other side, Ohio State's done a good job moving the ball, and number 5's just done a great job. He's got the goal there, and he had another great assist afterwards. And then Josh Byrne, this is stuff that you just can't teach. This is just a natural lefty Canadian type move, outstanding shot.
Both goalies have gotten involved as well. Carey for Ohio State, he's got 4 saves, and Jack Concannon with 5 saves in the first half.
2 different styles of goalie. You have Jack Concannon, who's very acrobatic, diving and doing the splits, and then you have Carey Ohio State, who's just good, solid, taking away the angles, position, the goaltender, but both are incredibly effective and have been the key to the game so far to them.
Jack Concannon, top 5 in the country in save percentage, as we talked about. He's going to stay up there as well with his performance today. Second half will be coming your way in a matter of moments. It's Hofstra and Ohio State in a 1-goal game. Stay with us here on Lac Sports Network. Hofstra a 3-2 lead over Ohio State. We'll start the second half in just a matter of moments. First, we'll take a look at the first half stats as Hofstra out shooting Ohio State. Face-offs also in Hofstra's advantage.
Those are 2 big keys, and Ohio State and the other sides did a really good job with riding and clearing as opposed to Hofstra. So they're kind of equalizing the face-offs, but both teams have been incredibly ineffective on the man up. So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to in the second half to see if they can do a better job on.
All right, we'll go down to Nick Myers, the Ohio State head coach. His team trailing by 1. And Coach Myers, offensively, you guys were closer to a couple of times. The one pass behind Carter Brown probably could have resulted in a goal. But what do you guys got to do to get a little bit more scoring in this second half?
Yeah, well, we got to get the ball. I think that time of possession was dominated by Hofstra due to the face-off X and just way too many penalties on our end. When we did have it, we were a little bit impatient. I thought we had a couple quality looks. Goalie made a couple nice saves. So we're looking to settle down in our offense, play a little bit deeper into possessions, hopefully, and then capitalize when the opportunities present themselves.
Coach, you guys have done such a good job on one-on-one defense and a great job riding. Is that something you kind of focused on at halftime?
Well, I think you just got to lean on it. I think we did too much of it. I do like the ride. I thought we got a couple there. Defensively, for as much defense we played, I think we're fortunate to be in a 3-2 game. Credit Hofstra for what they've done, but I think we understand that, like I said, we're pretty lucky to be in this game right now. We got to get back to who we are and play a much better second half.
All right, Coach Myers, appreciate it. Good luck in the second half.
Appreciate it.
He was ready to go as his team trailing by 1 right now. Got a minute and a half left on the halftime clock, but I'd imagine we'll just start getting going in a couple of moments. Again, you talked about it, the extra man opportunities, both teams struggling in that. 0 of 6 combined. Ohio State 0 for 2, Hofstra 0 4. And the clears and the faceoffs sort of balance out because Hofstra has won 3 faceoffs, and Hofstra has also failed on 3 clearing attempts. So that's balanced out a little bit.
They haven't. Ohio State's done a good job on man-down defense, but Coach Myers actually made a good point. At the end of the day, when you make those penalties, you're giving Hofstra the ball for that amount of time. So time of possession has been incredibly skewed to Hofstra. So no matter how well you play a man-down defense, you don't want to play defense no matter what. So they got to keep their sticks under control. They got to stop, giving Hofstra the extra chances. And I think it's going to start with this face-off. So I know that the coach said that, is really looking for the face-off X and clearing and for the face-off and for the penalties to slow down and give the offense more chances.
Hofstra coming off their first loss of the season last week to Georgetown. Came out really flat in that game. And Ohio State coming off a couple wins last weekend at the Midwest Classic. Win on Friday, win on Sunday. And they're 5-1 on the season. Their lone loss to a conference affiliate of Hofstra and UMass. And Clark had won it for the first moment and tries to back it through, and we'll get not only a push, but a flag on a penalty as Clark was cross-checked, and Hofstra will get the ball back. And Nick Myers talked about it not 2 minutes ago. Another penalty on the Buckeyes.
It's really frustrating. You know, just to start the half, the main key that Coach Myers said was no penalties, and here they go back on man down. So a great opportunity for Hofstra. They got to get better on man up. I mentioned, you know, what will probably happen is Ohio State will probably shut off Josh Byrne again because that's been so effective.
And Byrne starts with the ball up top. They're not on him right now, and they do go over to lock him off. So we've seen a lot of that in the second half of games, whether it be man up or just 6-on-6 settle play. Kopecky back with it. Linares holding. And Hofstra 0 of 4 today on man up opportunities. They've really clamped down, Ohio State has, when they've needed to. Ball gets through again. That'll be a loose ball push as Kavanaugh used the body to shield that. 31 seconds already gone on the man advantage. Hofstra not really showing any aggressiveness in the first half of the penalty. And they'll wheel it around. Linares comes out from behind the cage, and Kavanaugh will go over at X. They've got Byrne on the crease, says Hofstra. 2 guys on the crease right now. Looking right on the crease. Quick stick and a goal for Hofstra. Von Borgen netting his second of the game, and Hofstra has their first extra man goal in 5 tries.
Hofstra's got to be excited to get back onto the board in a man-up offense, moving the ball. This is just a good cut, and they actually use Josh Byrne as a pick, as you can see in the middle. And Van Bargen does a great job using that pick, cutting down with his left hand and finishing. Great job by the man-up offense for Hofstra, getting on the board, starting the second half on the right foot.
Linares just his 3rd assist of the season. And it'll be the first goal of 4 today for Hofstra that have an assist on it as well. Ohio State, good sight for them. They win a faceoff. Withers quickly coming up to it. Right side, quick shot. And second time today, Ron, that we've seen Ohio State win a faceoff and take one of those quick shots.
I'm sure Carter Brown wants that one back. You know, as a leader who really hasn't had much production at all today, that's a great opportunity for him to kind of answer a big goal from Hofstra, and unfortunately it goes wide.
So Ohio State will have their first offensive possession of this half. To open the game, both teams scored on their opening possessions, and then the defenses woke up a little bit, and it was a 1-1 game after 1 quarter of play.
I really want to see Ohio State kind of get some sort of flow going, get some sort of strategy on offense, and get guys moving the ball to the backside, because they were very stagnant in the first half.
Hunter's pass knocked down, picked up by Ohio State, shot just whistles wide of the net to the right side as Jasinski picked it up and quickly tried to shoot it on one motion.
He's been their best player so far today. He's had the goal and assist, and again, just another great opportunity out of him. I would imagine he's starting to get a little feel for it and starting, you know, getting a little confidence, and I hope to go back to him because he's been productive.
Again, Ohio State without Connor Shell, who had 5 multi-point games last year and playing in just 7. Also without John Kelly, who started 11 games last year. Really started to come on in the end of last season. He started the last 9 games, including 2 NCAA tournament games for Ohio State. Moving inside, tied up. Concannon swallows this up as Fennell couldn't get a shot off, and will have a hold whistled against Hofstra. Sort of a late whistle, but Ohio State will get the ball back.
Matt, number 14, Carter Brown, who we focused at the beginning of the game, has been really quiet. We really haven't even seen him take the ball and dodge it all. And you know, as a senior, I want him to take a little bit of ownership and see what he can do.
There's a quick stick, a good look, but just off target, off cage. Though Ohio State having a good extended possession here to open the half. Some good looks. They just haven't been on target so far. Jasinski trying to dodge from that right point. You can hear the Ohio State sideline calling for a cross-check of Lynch. Playing physical with Fennell. Jasinski getting it back. Quick movement now for Ohio State. Right side. It's blue ball. Low shot. Concannon goes down and makes the stop. Tried to do essentially what Byrne did a moment ago.
Great defense by Hofstra. That's a low-quality shot. The shooter's off his back foot, fading away in the middle of field. Jack Kincannon, outstanding save, and now, you know, a clear from Hofstra, which was another focus for them from the first half, which they were not effective on. Great job by Hofstra.
Von Bargen bring it over the midfield line for Hofstra. 3 minutes and change gone in this third quarter. And the Pride looking to extend their lead. This is the largest of the game that they've had. 3-1, and now at 4-2. It's Byrne who had his 15th goal of the season a moment ago, earlier in this game. Byrne up top for Hendrickson. Hendrickson trying to dodge down. And the Poles have been very effective for Ohio State today. Hendrickson, one-handed shot on the shovel, and it goes in.
Hendrickson's got 2, Van Bargen's got 2. This is just really good stuff for Coach Tierney and Hofstra, the 2 guys that they know are going to be keys for this game. This is just a really quick move and an outstanding finish. The one-handed righty shovel provides the celebration for Hendrickson. Great effort, great goal. Hofstra up by 3.
Creativity is starting to spread around this Hofstra offense. And the 6th goal of the season for Corey Hendrickson. He was 3rd on the team in points last year with 13 goals and 7 assists. Scrum for it. Ohio State wins it. Jake Withers, the face-off guy, comes up with the ground ball. Withers steps it in, and Ohio State will slow it down. So Withers not trying to rush it that time. You imagine he might have heard it from Coach after that last face-off win for Ohio State.
You know, one thing that you can really start seeing as a parent is Ohio State's really missing Kelly and Shell. They're just missing guys that can draw doubles and draw the attention of the defense. Right now, the Ohio State offense is having a really tough time picking holes in Hofstra. And, you know, I think guys like Carter Brown and Jasinski's got to keep just grinding it away and try to keep finding opportunities for the offense. But so far, they've had a tough time.
We talked about it. The injuries, but also Carter Brown, the lone starter starting today. That was an offensive starter for Ohio State last year in their NCAA quarterfinal appearance. Lefty shot, just pulled wide. Good defense by Mike Diener. Trying to get it back in quickly. Noah Best, the freshman, another Ohio native from Toledo, coming in. Ohio D2 Player of the Year last year. An All-American as well his senior year of high school. There's Fennell off a screen, gets some shooting space. Kincannon, another stop.
Shot by number 20, Eric Fennell, the save by Jack Kincannon.
Well, it almost, after watching this guy now for 3 weeks in a row, it almost stops being a surprise on some of the saves he's making.
Great save by Jack Kincannon and another good clear from Hofstra. This is just a really good start to the second half for them. I know Coach Tierney's got to be very happy. Up by 3 and got the momentum and got a little groove going. This is really good stuff for Hofstra.
Second midfield unit on for Hofstra, and both Stasko and Franco were out there for the Pride, along with Alex Moser. So some new bodies getting in some action for Hofstra. Stasko in the game for the first time. And with the injury to Alderman, Kavanaugh stepped up, so they had some vacancies, so to speak, in that second midfield unit. Low shot, pulled wide, and the battle is on for the ball. Kopecki was there for Hofstra. Chris Mahoney chasing after it as well for Ohio State. Another Long Island native played for Tom Rotan's out at Shore and Wading River. Almost the midway point of the third quarter, a 5-2 Hofstra lead. Franco moving down low, Kopecki with it. Top right side for Stasko. Stasko fires a shot, and Carey got a chest protector on that, loose in front, and bodies falling on top of it. And Ohio State eventually collects as Mahoney picks up the ground ball.
Big save by Carey there. He really needed that one, or Ohio State generally needed that one. Big clear for them. They got to get the group. They got to get a little momentum going. They got to change this now before it gets too late.
Blobout was calling for it. Yeah, it feels like just mentally 4 goals is a much different hurdle than 3. Ohio State settling into the offense. Jasinski, who's got the ball in his stick right now, he's been their most dangerous offensive player so far today. A goal and an assist. And he's got it back on the right point. Trying to shake and bake. Moves back behind the cage. Here's Brown with it. Turnaround shot. Concannon, another stop. Stonewalling the Buckeyes in this third quarter.
You know, it really just wears you down as an offense when, you know, you're actually, Ohio State's getting good shots, right? They're starting to move the ball. They're starting to get their opportunities, but now Jack Concannon's just really catching a groove, and he's just a stone wall, like you said. Man, is he playing good today.
Lynch bringing the ball over midfield for Hofstra. Ohio State's had a little bit more possession, but the Pride doing much what they did in the first half, and that they're capable in being able to extend possessions, be patient, and wait for their opportunities. And Ohio State, they've been one and done on the shots in this third quarter, largely because Concannon is able to control the rebound, but they've not had long possessions in the third. Josh Byrne, double team comes to him. He flicks it down low for Hendrickson. 2 goals today. He and Von Bargen, leading point men for Hofstra this afternoon. The scoring's been at a premium, 5-2. Hofstra leads. Kupecki trying to spin. He's looking to shoot. Von Bargen swinging it around for Kavanaugh. Now Kavanaugh gets by his man. Head up, looks for Linares. Linares steps into one and Carey there for the save.
Good ball movement, good offense. Just another great effort by Carey again. This is just really good lacrosse, and both goaltenders just stepping up to the plate. So, you know, both offenses can't be too discouraged. They just try to find better shots. And what I'd like to see is some teams, both sides, actually shooting higher. You know, like, you know, top shelf. I think both goaltenders kind of dropping their sticks and anticipating the lower shots. What I want to see now is some of the, you know, shooting for the top corners.
Ohio State's first goal was a top shelf goal from Jasinski. He's back in as well as Pfister. Blobout. Jasinski now working behind the necks. Feeds across the cage. Right side. It looked like they were feeding and it almost went in for a goal. On top right side, Hunter with it. Here's a dodge, unwinding on a shot, high bounce. Concannon doesn't know where it is. It's loose behind the cage, and we'll have a whistle, loose ball push against Hofstra, and Ohio State will keep the possession. And they're starting to buzz with some activity now. Hunter holding up top, Jasinski now. Jasinski around his man, trying to shake free, looking on the crease, nothing doing there. Closing in on the 4-minute mark of this third quarter.
You can feel a sense of urgency from Ohio State. Great job, but another good save by Jack Concannon. The guy is seeing beach balls out here.
Shanks picked it up. Concannon stretching out in between saves.
But again, I really like, you can see the sense of urgency. You can see how fast the ball is moving around. This is what I wanted to see all game for Ohio State. You can see guys running around. They're getting shots off. They're playing at a high pace of play. And I think it's constructive for them to try and tie this game up.
Pfister trying to back his way in and fires off another shot that's wide. But Ohio State now, you're right, they're taking higher percentage shots. They're a lot more active, both on and off ball. And this the sort of energy that you could say that Nick Myers was talking about in the first half.
And it wears down a defense. This is a really long possession. You know, they haven't really had many of these, and any defense is going to get tired.
Right on the crease, ball gets through. And a whistle and a crease violation against Ohio State, where they were looking right on the doorstep for Shanks, and he must have taken his eye off it for a brief second, and he was unable to catch it, and it got all the way through. Ohio State's had a couple good looks on that back door that they just haven't been able to capitalize on now.
It's another great effort by Hofstra on defense. I'm really impressed with the way they communicate. I'm really impressed with the way Jack and Cannon's playing. They got a complete defense down there. And now the offense is starting to get a little bit of a groove. Carey on the other side is doing a really good job on in between the pipes. It's been a good half of lacrosse so far.
Again, two of the top defenses in the country. Ohio State 11th statistically in total defense coming into today. Hofstra 9th after they were a top 10 defense a year ago, allowing just a little over 8 goals a contest. Byrne off a screen, bodied up. They're playing physical with him. Byrne now tries to spin, moves in free. Byrne behind the back shot and pulls it wide. Boy, you always have to be ready as a goalie if you're going up against number 42.
You never know where it's going to come from. He's had the screen loaded low, and you see the behind the back there. You always got to be on your toes with him with the ball.
Likewise, a teammate as well. Be ready for those passes or to back up. There's Hendrickson trying to bully his way in. Hendrickson shot fake. Moves behind as he veers off. Inside 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's just 1 goal scored. And we'll get a timeout. You could hear from the Hofstra sideline. 1:41 to go. We'll keep it here. Every day at 2 p.m., Tilt and Flow brings you 4 hours of lacrosse talk. Host Chris Marshall and Josh Hawkins interview the top newsmakers in the sport of lacrosse and provide insight and analysis you can't get anywhere else. Tilt and Flow on Lac Sports Network every day at 2 p.m. It's all Laccess. And 1:41 to go in a pretty quick-moving third quarter. Byrne and Linares starting to get going as this game has gone on, but for Hofstra, the midfield has been where the offense has been today. Van Bargen, Hendrickson, both with 2 goals apiece.
Two other guys I wanted to highlight today. On Ohio State's side, you have Evans playing really good man-to-man defense. On the other side, you have Sullivan for Hofstra. This is just a really good clinic about how to play good defense. You're not trying to take the ball away so much as you are just trying to prevent those star players from scoring. And both of those guys have done such a good job defending against Byrne, defending against Carter Brown on the other side. It's just been a really good job for anyone watching the game to how to play good position defense.
Cannon now creeping up on double-digit saves once again. He had 5 saves at the half. At least 4 of them here in this third quarter off the top of my head. We don't have the stats in front of us right at this second. But Carey has almost matched him save for save. Hofstra's just had a little bit more possession in this game, and they have fired off a lot more shots as well. So Seth Tierney didn't like what he saw offensively, so he called that timeout. Hofstra back to it with 1.5 minutes to go. And you wonder again if they will be patient and try and wait it out to the end of the quarter. Kopecky was trying to look for Byrne, but defense came over quickly to Byrne. Kavanaugh, as we're all the way out near midfield now. Hofstra spreading things out. Hendrickson. Feed left side for Van Bargen. Don't sleep on him from that spot of the field. One of the areas he likes to shoot from.
1 minute remaining in
Final
the third
minute
quarter.
of play here in the third quarter. There's Byrne being teed up by Evans, as you talked about. Evans has given up just the 1 goal to Byrne. Hard to really fault him on that even. Kavanaugh will go low to high, but sky it over the net. Drop the level. Looking for that shot.
Shot clock is on. Shot by
I think
number
you see that
25,
from a
Brandon
Kavanaugh over at Notre Dame once or twice as well. They're just so good with that crafty left hand. They're both hockey players. You can see just the little toe drag action there.
Shot clock is on. 20 seconds left in the clock. About a 15-second difference between the shot and the game clock. Here's Hendrickson again dodging behind the cage. 3 yellow jerseys for Hofstra and X. Just 5 to shoot now. Byrne trying to work his way in. Byrne, little scoop shot, gets waved off. And Hofstra will be able to hold for the final 15 seconds now. Kopecky, as that was on goal. 8 seconds remain in the third quarter. Kopecky coming across. Kopecky shoots wide as it hit the back of the net, and the third quarter will come to an end.
Another great defensive effort by Ohio State Buckeyes. They've done a great job just trying to limit the Hofstra offense because their offense hasn't had very much success.
But Ohio State shut out in the third quarter as Hofstra takes a 5-2 lead for the fourth quarter. We'll be back in a moment in a top 20 matchup. You're watching the College Game of the Week here on LSA. Four saves in the quarter for Jack Kincannon, 9 today, as Hofstra shut out Ohio State in that third quarter, and they have a 3-goal lead, 5-2, as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Matt Schroedis, Rob Angelke with you from Hofstra Stewart Stadium, the 13th ranked Pride, the 19th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Withers has an early beat on it, picks it up for Ohio State. Clark got a shot at him as he crossed midfield, but Withers was able to pick it up, and Ohio State will go on the attack.
Big quarter for Hofstra there. It started off with a man-up goal, continued throughout with great goaltending by Jack Kincannon. Ohio State's got to get this going. They picked up the pace of play. They had a sense of urgency going into the third quarter, and they got to continue that going, as this fourth quarter continues. The win with the faceoff is a good start, but they need Carter Brown. They need Jasinski to continue produce, draw slides, and try to get some points on the board.
Bobow comes back to the near side. Austin Shanks. Guys like Shanks, obviously with Carter Brown as well, two of the leading goal scorers for this team. Fennell as well. Ohio State puts one in top shelf to get things started here in the third quarter, and a huge goal for the Buckeyes. Eric Fennell right on cue.
Ohio State goal, his 8th of the season.
Great ball movement. Eric Fennell is a big guy, barrels in. And I like that he shot high on Jack Kincannon. They shot, 3 or 4 times low, and Jack Kincannon's been up to the task. I like how they, started top shelf now, and I think they may have found a solution to the goaltending there. And like we said, winning faceoffs, quality shots, and getting, your more senior guys. Eric Fennell, as a junior, that's a big-time play for him to kind of get the ball rolling here and only down by 2.
First-year player with the Buckeyes coming in from Adrian, Michigan. He was the conference's most valuable offensive player a couple seasons ago. 31 goals at junior college last year. Face-off win, and we'll have a push against Ohio State. Hofstra will have it back. A lot more urgency we've seen from Hofstra when there have been face-offs to get that ground ball. When Princeton got physical with them, with Culver, when Georgetown got a little physical with them, it was causing turnovers. We haven't really seen turnovers in the middle of the field like that today. Ball gets away, but Burn able to scoop it up. So 2-goal contest. Low scoring affair today with 2 of the top defenses in the country.
Going into the end of the quarter there, Hofstra was dodging mainly from behind, but throughout this game, it really hasn't been productive. I like them dodging from up top, the midfielders. They're dodging from the high wing. I want to see continually, Van Bargen, as you can see. A really good job. This is really good offense, starting with Hendrickson.
Van Bargen pumps one in the bottom right corner, and those two hook up for a goal. 3rd points of the day for both of them, and the midfield has come to play today for Hofstra.
Starts with Hendrickson, and the hedging with a slide, and Van Bargen, this is a far shot. This is from 15 yards, but just incredibly well placed. That is low and away. That is really hard for a goalie to save. Van Bargen and Hendrickson having a huge day. That duo has been really potent. Great job of the Hofstra offense.
Hofstra's doubled up Ohio State. They've matched their largest lead of the game at 6-3. This is a team in 3 of their 5 wins. They've scored double figures. They scored 16 against Detroit, 12 over UMBC, 12 over Marquette. So they have the ability to score. Again, a little banged up today with 2 key midfielders out of the lineup. But defensively, the Poles, Kincannon, they've been there for Hofstra today. trouble with this one. They get it on a hop to Kavanaugh and settle into the offense.
You know, I feel like all the keys that we spoke about with Coach Tierney, man up, clearing, you know, quality of play, being careful with the ball, I feel like they've improved all of that in this second half, and it's been a really good second half for Hofstra, and you can see it's being reflected in the score.
Conversely for Ohio State, one of the last things Nick Meyer said to us was the penalty kill, or not committing penalties, and they commit a penalty on the opening faceoff, results in a goal for Hofstra. But outside of that, they've improved as well, at least at the latter portion of that third quarter. Offense looked more fluid. There's Von Bargen again trying to let one go, and it carries there for the stop.
You know what? I don't mind that take. You know, it's a good save by Carey. Van Bargen's feeling hot. You got to give it to the hot hand. Lefty going down the alley. It's just a good save by Carey. Big opportunity for Ohio State. They got to answer here.
Bargen with the hat trick today. 2 goals and assist for Hendrickson. Ohio State moving upfield. Shanks has it. And we talked about Shanks. We talked about Fennell. We talked about Brown. Those are the guys, if you're Ohio State, you look to, along with the freshman Jasinski, who's had a nice game offensively today for Ohio State. You know, in a game like this, in lacrosse, 3 goals is not a huge deficit. In a game like this, it feels a lot bigger. Offside it comes for Blue out. Dida trying to shake his hands free. Unable to get much of a lane. Fennell has it up top. Right side looking right to a cutter, and they deposit it down low. Ryan Hunter has his second of the game, and Ohio State's back within 2.
Great answer by Ohio State. This is a really good cut. This is just Hofstra, you know, kind of being a little lazy on defense. This is the first time where we kind of saw them with their little bit of ball watching, you know, a little bit of laziness. But at the end of the day, you got to give the cutter really good credit. Good handle, finishing on the far side. Great job by the Ohio State Buckeyes answering to the Hofstra, you know, swarm on the offensive side. You can feel the energy picking up. 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You can feel the, you know, high intensities of both big games for both teams.
Yeah, I was about to say after that goal was scored, one of my first thoughts is you get the feeling all of a sudden that the offenses might start picking up and that this game might get to double figures. Face-off win on the procedure against Ohio State. It's been an issue today for Withers.
Yeah, again, face-off can just be, I mean, they're so essential for a team that's behind. You know, for them to have any chance to win, they got to start winning face-offs. For every goal that they knock down, you know, get it from 3 goals, to get it to 2 goals, to get it to 1 goal. It really helps when they can win face-offs to keep that momentum.
So Linares, little change of pace. Splits it off, gives to Hendrickson down low. And as you were saying earlier in this quarter, Ohio State's done a really nice job defending from back out. Hofstra's had to change what they do a little bit offensively and really make sure to dodge and attack from up top. Kavanaugh and Linares play catch down on the near side corner. Hofstra slowing it down a little bit. A 2-goal lead, still a lot of time left. 10 minutes to go in the quarter. And in the contest, Linares turns. Good defensive recovery up top. Kavanaugh's going to turn, spin. Almost got his hands free, but the help defense came over again. And Kavanaugh wasn't able to get anything off.
Yeah, 2 guys on defense, number 50, Robbie Haas, number 43, Eric Evans. These guys are just completely shutting down the 2 stars from Hofstra of Josh Byrne and Sam Linares. But again, the guys on midfield, the Hendricksons and the Van Bargens of the world have just been incredibly effective, and I think Hofstra's got to continue to go to those guys until they get stopped.
Haas, a 4th-round draft pick in the MLL by the Florida Launch this year. 4-year captain. Byrne got a clean look, and he's frustrated with himself off that one. It doesn't happen too much for number 42 in yellow. Somebody missed an assignment, and he missed on the shot. Here's Kopecky, fires one off the post. Quick rebound for Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are out and running. Here comes Missani. Ohio State was looking to get into a quick offense, but Hofstra got back. Two really good looks for Hofstra and unable to cash in.
Big possession for Ohio State here. Just you got to keep in mind the time here. Only 8 minutes left. The possessions have been long on both sides. Goaltenders have been good, so again, a huge opportunity for Ohio State to close in here.
There's Blobau. Cuts near side. Austin Shanks, who assisted on the last goal for Ohio State. 2-goal game, things getting tight in a top 20 matchup. And the Buckeyes, number 19, Hofstra, 13th ranked team in the country.
I like this matchup here, man. I want to see Eric Fennell take more ownership. He's a big guy. He's got a short stick on him. He's got to be able to beat his guy. He's been productive so far today, and I think they got to keep going back to him.
Shanks as well. Austin Shanks moving right side. It's well done defensively by Linares out on the defensive side, midfield. He got a nice stick check there. Blobau looking inside. Concannon clamps it down. The help coming from Sullivan as that one had gotten by him, but not over the goal line.
I think that's where the sweatpants help. I think the sweatpants kind of caught a little bit, and the ball just doesn't make it over the goal line there. Again, Jack Concannon doing a great job on the low shots.
Kopecki's got to step into the box. He's able to, as he was pushed out for a moment by Mahoney. So big save by Concannon. Keeps it a 2-goal contest. And offensively, that's got to give you a lift if you're an attacker and you see that. And Hofstra slowing it down, letting some time off the clock.
Last time down, great job, great shot, just, hitting the pipe. And it's tough when you're playing against a guy like Carey and, you're hitting pipes. But Hofstra's offense has been really good this second half. They've been dodging from all over the place.
Byrne looking across the crease to Kopecki, who puts it in. Fourth goal this season for Trevor Kopecki, and Hofstra back on top by 3.
This is just a beautiful assist. It's hard to even see him from the backside there. He throws it through like 3 different guys, right on the money. Allows Kopecki just to kind of shove it right in there. Really good job by Josh Byrne getting on the board with an assist there. Now he has 1-on-1. Up by 3 with 6.5 minutes to left. Ohio State's really got to turn things around here. Face-off's important.
Tying his season output from a year ago with 4 goals. Like you said, big face-off for Ohio State. Withers, the ground ball. Not quite out of trouble just yet. Now he gets it over midfield. Withers, lead pass ahead, gets through, and Hofstra picks it up. With Brendan Lynch going ahead, vocal for the pride. And you can see Sam Linares from the near side of your screen, his hands up, saying, slow it down.
I respect Withers trying to make a play there, given the, a tight pass on the offensive side, but know your personnel. I don't think that was his place to try to make the home run pass. And, I would have much rather take possession there and get it into the offensive player's hands. And now Hofstra, that time is of the essence now. It's so valuable. And, we're closing in on 5 minutes with Hofstra being effective on offense. It's looking dreary for Ohio State right now.
As Byrne turns around and puts it in. Second goal of the game for Josh Byrne. And Hofstra's doubled up Ohio State. It's 8-4.
As a coach, you love to see your senior players stepping up. Josh Byrne with the assist in the last possession, now dodging, coming topside from high to low. No goalie's going to save that. Josh Byrne is an outstanding finisher. Huge for them to go up by 4. Great job.
Josh Byrne again averaging just over 3 points a game, is right on that number right now. A timeout by Ohio State with 5:40 to go in the game. Hofstra 8, Ohio State 4. We talked about the brutal stretch that Ohio State has coming up. This sort of the back end of what was the tougher stretch of Hofstra's schedule, opening the season down at number 5, North Carolina, the win there, Princeton, Georgetown, this game, and then you get Stony Brook later in the week. So after that, they flipped towards the CAA schedule, but this was really the tougher part of their schedule, as Ohio State's getting into the meat of their schedule now.
Coach Tierney's got to be really pumped about the way they've played in the out-of-conference schedule. Maybe if they don't even win the CAA, I think they're going to have a chance to win the at-large, depending upon how that conference does. But this is just really productive. This is just really constructive for the rest of the season. They're playing really good lacrosse. They've really earned these, the 8-4 lead right now. I'm really impressed with the way they played, sort of rallying behind Jack Kincannon and his goaltending play. On the other side, Ohio State, this is going to be tough. If they don't come back here with the win, they got a really tough stretch against some really good teams. A team like Towson, where they probably thought at the beginning of the year they'd have a pretty easy win there, but unfortunately, Towson's come into the top 10 team, so they got a really tough stretch, and this could be a tough loss going forward.
Nick Myers trying to get his team rallied as they have a sizable deficit to overcome with 5:40 to go. As a coach and a player, you're always keeping in mind that goal per minute ratio. So you feel like as long as you're, within that mark, you still got an opportunity. But it starts with winning faceoffs, which Ohio State has done a little bit better in this second half, but still struggled with. Again, Withers won it outright, but then unable to keep it. Comes out of the pack, and it's picked up by the Pride, and that's Chris Clark with it. And it's still loose around midfield, and eventually here's Ohio State, but battling forward continues, and they're able to get back to the defensive side. Surprised, you're right, no timeout taken by Nick Myers, saving on to that second one. Good aggressive activity from both Hofstra and Ohio State on that faceoff.
Great effort there by Withers. Great job clearing the ball. Still like the tenacity at Ohio State, but the pace of play has got to really increase right now. They need a lot of goals in a short amount of time, and it starts with the offense. And Eric Fennell with the ball, and Jasinkas and Carter Brown's really got to step up to the plate.
Straight away, JT Bluebow, junior attacker from Ohio, and that's one goal for Ohio State. Austin Shanks, his second point of the quarter. And the Buckeyes within 3.
Great job, Austin Shanks, dodging from the wing, keeping the stick in his right hand, protecting against the short stick there, a little toe drag, and then going low to high. I think going high on Jack Kincannon has been effective so far this game, and I want to see Ohio State to continue to take those shots above the shoulders, because anything low, Jack Kincannon's got it smothered.
Go back to the face-off X. And the Buckeyes trying to build on that one goal. Whistle, loose ball push against Hofstra. Ohio State will have it. Trying for their third goal in the quarter. They had 3 goals the entire game coming into the quarter. But again, after that first goal, you had the feeling that the offenses would start to pick up production in this fourth quarter.
And they have. Ohio State's done a much better job this quarter. They're getting the ball to guys like Shanks and Fennell, who I was hoping would be more productive earlier. And they're putting the ball in the better spots. I like up top against Kincannon.
Here's Brown trying to adjust. Able to do so, but Kincannon had the save. Good, nice little slip by Carter Brown. About left side, shot right into the chest protector of Kincannon. Loose in front. Fennell a moment. We'll have a whistle on Hofstra, and Ohio State is going to go man up. Take that back. It's Ohio State going man down.
Great save by Kincannon here. he just took away the angle, and it just hit him on the chest, but, you know, it still counts as a save. And again, just holding really good position goaltending. Ohio State's done a good job trying to get like getting shots off and trying to get the ball in the back of the net, but Kincannon been up to the task. This is just a really tough penalty for Ohio State to suffer against. I would imagine Hofstra's going to be very, very careful with the ball here, trying to get a shot maybe at the very end of the penalty, but they need to be careful and don't force a turnover.
30-second variety on a holding penalty. And you're right, you'd imagine Hofstra would just kind of take some time off the clock right now. Work this thing under 3 minutes. As time winding down already. Again, no real sense of urgency for Hofstra on the penalty, or on the man advantage, I should say. Well, Norris will get a screen from Byrne. Inside, 3 minutes to go. Kavanaugh was calling for it all the way near the top of the midfield. Hofstra's offense really spreading the field out right now. Kopecky gets by the defense. Kopecky almost got tripped up. It looked like the official was reaching for his flag, and the flag does come out. Delayed penalty coming up on Ohio State.
You know, I'm surprised that Ohio State's coming out and pushing like this. You know, Hofstra was kind of walking the ball around the net. They could have gotten probably, you know, a delay game or something. But now with this extra penalty, Hofstra's going to be able to knock away a lot of time. It's going to be incredibly tough for Ohio State to come back at this point.
Shot clock is on. And they'll use the entire 30 seconds that's on the shot clock, because the penalty will be called after that. We'll see if they even decide to take a shot. Here's Byrne. Moving inside, Byrne going to put it on net, and it's carry out to make the save. And they'll wave off the shot clock. Carry out there trying to harass the defender, and the ball now goes out of bounds, but that drew another penalty, so it looks like Ohio State will be 2 men down, and Carey being one of those, where Matt Schmidt, nope, he was getting ready to come in, and we'll see. Instead, Willie Clan, the freshman from Rochester, New York, come in.
This is just a push from behind from the goalie. You don't see too many penalties by the goalie, but at this point it's desperation. Everyone's got to step up and try to turn the ball over. Here, to be honest, I thought that was a little careless. I thought they could have used the delayed game aspect of lacrosse that they have now to try and get a turnover and get the ball on the other side, but you know, there's another penalty that Hofstra drew, and you got to hand it to them, taking care of the ball.
2 penalties on Ohio State.
Timeout will be taken.
Tom Harry, 30 seconds for a push. And
So we'll have a minute of 30 seconds of 2-man advantage, and 30 seconds following that of a 1-man advantage. The defending Division I national champion Denver Pioneers are heading to Texas, and we'll have the action for you right here on Lac Sports Network. Coach Bill Tierney is bringing his team to Dallas on March 26th to take on Penn State out of the Big Ten. You can see the game live right here on LSN at 1 Eastern on Saturday, March 26th. The College Lacrosse Game of the Week on Lac Sports Network. It's all Lexus. Big matchup. You see these games across the college landscape going to the neutral sites. Helps with recruiting, helps get the name out. We had Duke and Harvard here last week. Denver, Penn State playing down in Dallas. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, how exciting is that, right? I mean, I'm sure both programs are really excited to get down to Texas, the very rare venue or very rare area of the country for lacrosse to be played at from the Division I level. So I'm sure the state of Texas is very excited, and you know, this is part of the growth of the game. It's very healthy, it's very productive, and I think it's a good thing.
You see at Ohio State, I mean, you look at some of the top programs in the country right now. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Denver. Obviously, Notre Dame has been up in the conversation for many, many years, but Denver, once Bill Tierney got there, sort of put themselves on the map. They had won their conference. They'd been to the NCAA tournament by the time he got there, but they have jumped to another level. And even what we saw last week with what Ohio State did, they played in that Midwest Classic, Bellarmine, Detroit, Ohio State, Marquette. Those 4 teams helps a little bit in terms of travel. Got a couple games in. and everybody's on the same footing, so you're not worried about one team playing on a short week. So Hofstra, they have possession right now with the two-man advantage. 4 seconds remaining on the first penalty. The initial one, Von Bargen moving towards Gage. Defense comes over to him. He coughs it up, but it's picked up by Hendrickson of Hofstra. Final minute of play here in the game. And Hofstra not looking to score right now, just will use the final 15 seconds of the second penalty. But the fans starting to come alive. A complete effort, almost the antithesis of what we saw last week against Georgetown. You invert it, and Hofstra came out with purpose. They came out off the loss, and they knew exactly what they wanted to do, executed the game plan well.
You know, I think Coach Myers can be really upset with the way they played just because of how many penalties they suffered. It's so hard to stay competitive in a game when you're committing 7 to 8, 9 penalties. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the time possession, the opportunities you give to the offense, it just gives you a dagger on the defensive side. And I thought they played pretty well. I think they did a better job in the second half getting opportunities, but those penalties were the name of the game.
Here's a shot, Concannon, the stop there, and Concannon will win the race to the end line to put a little cherry on top of the Sunday for Hofstra. With 2 seconds to go, Concannon will heave it downfield, and Hofstra moves to 4-1 on the season with an 8-5 victory over 19th ranked Ohio State.
Great job by both teams. It was a great lacrosse game, great clinic of how to play solid defense and how to play in between the pipes. Offensive they had good swings. They had good swings of momentum, and the Hofstra midfielder played midfield in general, played very well. Ohio State did a good job of picking up the pace of play with Fennell and Shanks, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to tie up the ball game. You got to hand it to Hofstra. They've had a great game today and continue on to a great season.
So the Pride get their second victory over a top 20 opponent of the season. They improve to 4-1 on the season. Ohio State drops to 5-2. We'll be back in a moment. Still plenty more to come on LSA. Back at Hofstra as the Pride 8-5 winners today over Ohio State. Matt Shortis, Rob Anglekey with you as we are just waiting a moment for Seth Tierney to join us. He'll be with us, and as well as Jack Concannon. And for Hofstra, the big bright spot, I would imagine, obviously anytime you come away with a win, it's a good day, but they cleaned up the things that concerned them in the first half. The clears, after they had given up a couple turnovers in the clears, they were 7 for 7 in the second half. The extra man, they got a goal there. So those things, adjustments in game, moved in the right direction for Hofstra.
It's a game of adjustments. You're constantly trying to figure out what the other team is doing and what you can improve. And man, when we spoke at halftime, Coach Tierney spoke about man-ups and clearing and effective offense, and all three of those aspects of the game were just pinpoint, almost 100%. I think it changed, and they just did a great job in the second half improving.
Jack Cannon, 14 saves today, including 5 in the fourth quarter when Ohio State was really trying to pepper the cage and come back in this game. So another strong game in goal for Jack Concannon. And now we'll shoot down to Seth Tierney. And Coach, one thing we were just talking about is the areas of concern for you at halftime, the clearing game, the man-up chances, those things you remedied pretty quickly, and it was a much better second half in terms of those areas for you. So I'd imagine in terms of adjustments, you have to feel pretty good about the way your team was able to improve those areas in the second half.
Yeah, we made some adjustments at halftime. I don't know if you call them adjustments, but we just pointed out some things that we weren't doing well. Like we said, we turned the ball over in the clearing game, and I think in the second half, again, I haven't seen the stats yet, but I think in the second half we cleared the ball much better. So I think that was important. Obviously, you're going to speak to Jack in a few minutes. He played really, really well, saw the ball well, and we just had some poise down there. Listen, they're a tough team to prepare for. They are strong, hard dodgers. They've got some set looks, and our guys, to hold them to 5 or 6 goals, whatever it was at the end, that's a hell of a job by our defensive coordinator, Kevin Unterstein.
Coach Tierney, congrats on the win. Rob Engelke here. I just wanted to point out the duo between Hendrickson and Von Bargen. They kind of seem to work really well together. They kind of seem looking for each other. Can you just kind of talk to just kind of the growth of those two as they are on the freshman field?
Yeah, there's no question, Rob. You know, they were keyed on Sam and Josh today. Pretty good. You know, Josh had a couple in the second half, and I think he had one worm burner in the first half. But you know, that's what we need. You need to be, in order to be a dangerous team. Okay, if you're going to take away Josh, okay. You're going to take away Sam, okay. And then so then Von Bargen, and then Corey Hendrickson, and those guys have to step up. And then Trevor Kopecky got a big goal at the end as well.
And Kincannon again with 14 saves today. His strong start to the season continues. It's hard to be surprised by what he does anymore, but I'm sure it's a nice safety blanket for you guys to have back there.
Yeah, Jack's had, you know, certainly the start to a very good year, has seen the ball well. Credit to the defense in front of him. You know, he's making the saves that he's supposed to make, and he's also stealing a couple for us. And, you know, again, it goes back to that Georgetown game right now that really is in my craw, because we just, you know, if we would have showed up for that game, I'm not saying we would have won, but I would have loved to put just a better effort and put a better product out there. But again, 4-1 now, and happy. But we've got a tough turnaround with Stony Brook, who just got after Rutgers yesterday on Tuesday night, which is it's going to be, forget about who's ranked where, and you can, you know, it's going to be a wild game.
All right, Coach Trainer, appreciate it. Congrats on the win today.
Thank you, guys.
Again, so we'll be joined by Jack Kincannon in a moment. He had 14 saves today in the winning effort, and his strong start to his starting career really continues here, and now we'll go down to the field with Jack Kincannon. And Jack, first, you know, 14 saves today, 5 of them coming in the fourth quarter. It seems like you're in such a groove right now. What is it like for you to be seeing the ball as well as you are?
You know, it's a great feeling to have a start like we've had, and I honestly have to credit to the defense. It's a team effort. We put a lot of work in off the field and on the field. So once that's clicking and we go into the game, it's real smooth.
Hey, Jack Kincannon, great job today. Great win. This is Rob Engelke. You know, I think you guys play some of the best one-on-one defense, some really good team defense, and you in between the pipes, you guys make one of the best defensive units. One thing we talked about was you guys struggled a little bit clearing in the first half and did a much better job in the second half. Is that something you try to take a little bit of ownership of going forward?
Yeah, definitely. Today we had a rough start with that, and honestly, I think it starts with me. I got to look up quicker, look to that cut in midi. So I think we came in, we figured it out, and then the second half came out and did what we had to do. And
for you guys, it seemed like you came into this game with a lot more life than you started in the Georgetown game. Is that? I mean, it never feels good to lose a game like that. But in the long run, if you look back, do you think that Georgetown loss can play to your benefit?
Yes, definitely. I think we needed that. I think we were feeling that we were better than we were. We need a little wake-up call, you know. Get back to what we were known for, you know, that hard fight and ground ball team.
All right, Jack, appreciate it. Good luck and congratulations on the win today.
Thank you.
And Jack Kincannon with 14 saves today in the winning effort for Hofstra. You heard it. He said it was a nice little wake-up call as Hofstra avenges or gets past a loss from Georgetown last week and moves to 3-1 on the season with a win today. Once again, our final score from Schuett Stadium, 8-5 Hofstra. Thanks for watching the College Game of the Week on LSN. For Rob Engelke, I'm Matt Shortis. Coming up next on LSN, it's the Lacrosse Now post-game show. Next live lacrosse action featuring the Hill Academy from Toronto, visiting St. Paul's School in Baltimore. Thanks for watching Lac Sports Network. It's all Laccess.